Hey guys, welcome back to Life Unfiltered. Today we actually have a very special guest, my bestie Belle. Say hi, Belle.
Hi, Belle. You're already giddy. I feel so
I'm
lucky.
already giddy. I have wanted to do this episode with Belle for ever since I've had even before the podcast. Actually,
Since we've been friends.
Yeah, since we've been friends, because we have conversations that are like, we just wish we would have like a mic sitting there and be like, I wish we could post this.
Yeah.
So now that you're in the podcast studio, I'm so excited.
I'm excited.
We're going to be covering friendships, but in a very, like, a way that probably people don't expect us to cover friendships.
Yeah.
In a good way, though. Like, I think these are conversations that need to happen around friends, and especially best friendships or even just casual friendships, because this is something people struggle with a lot. And I think also end of 2025, let's just say really early, I don't know about anyone else, but we shed some friends. We really did. And
It was a time for the collective, let's say, to close cycles and let go of certain things to move into a new chapter. So I think a lot of people had, you have times where people come, and it was a time of people going.
I think that's, and I feel like this is why the episode's so good with the time frame that we're doing it coming into 2026 of like we're being so intentional with the friends that we have, or even how we're showing up because of it, like after 2025, or like everyone can say that they've lost friendships before, like easily.
If you haven't lost friendships, I think you probably haven't had friends.
100%.
Or
like
okay.
If you haven't had really hard conversations that you've had to navigate with friendships also, or if that's something that you avoid. I used to be like that. I used to fucking hate them. They used to like.
Yeah, everyone starts off like that.
Oh my God, it's the worst feeling ever.
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore, but it used to be. And then I would just be like, all right, snip.
Yeah, it's like a skill or muscle. Like, the more you do it,
the easier and better it gets.
and better it gets, but also more productive,
Yeah, I
You're
think
not
it
just
also
doing it for the sake of it. Like, you're really moving intentionally the more you go.
I think it also depends on the friendship on the other side as well, from both sides. Like, from both sides. But before we get into today's episode, let's go over how we met. We actually met in a coffee shop.
It was so random. We have a mutual bestie, Kay, and she took me out for my birthday to grab a takeaway cuppa and sit in the park.
Cuppa?
Yeah. What do you call it?
Granny Bell.
Granabelle. Yeah, that's like an ongoing theme. My name's Annabelle, but I'm Granabelle because I have certain things that are just very granny-like.
Every time if I've like babysat little men or something, she's like, do you want to stay for a cuppa? And it's the cutest Granabelle thing ever. Sorry, keep going.
Anyway, back to my story. So we, Kay and I were going into a cafe that doesn't exist anymore, and we bumped into you and she recognized you. And you guys had like the longest hug ever, and you were there with another friend. And I was standing there like, this is so awkward because you guys are hugging for so long and like I'm not introduced. I don't know what to do. And then moved on with my birthday, and you followed me on Instagram, and I don't think I followed you back straight away because I was like, she didn't like make an effort to say hi or anything. And then you interacted with posts, and then I looked at your stuff and I was like, oh, I'm not really into all that like hyper gym stuff. And then you were so supportive of the aromatherapy business I was doing at the time, and we actually started talking in the DMs, and I was like, why am I not following her? And then we just interacted heaps, and then I was doing market research because I was trying to evolve that business at the time, and I was like, you know what, this girl will reflect things to me that I'm not seeing for myself, so I want to catch up with her because I think our differences will be helpful here.
And I think that's when we noticed it too.
Then we had a little picnic in the park while I was doing market research, and you brought me a cuppa, and I'm like, yeah, okay. We are friends now.
We're friends. I can't remember like I remember when we met. Oh no, that's what I was gonna say. With the Instagram, with the following back, you're the type of person that you will not follow someone if it's not actually you, like you don't see an interest in them. Where like people today, they just like follow people that's like mutual friends. You are not like that. Like we literally met each other in person for like a couple of seconds, and normal people are like, yeah, I know that girl, but you were like, she didn't really interact with me, so I'm not gonna follow her back. That's just the type of person you are in terms of like being intentional, that you're not just like, I'm not just going to follow you because I seen you in person for a second.
It definitely comes from somewhere though. Like I went through a phase living in the area that I do where I was new to the area, and it was right after my age group had just finished high school, and I was aware of how cliquey the people in that kind of town are.
Warrigal?
Yeah.
100%.
But it was kind of lost on me just how cliquey, and I had no one. Like I'd couch surfed and came to the area. I was like staying at a friend's family's house and kind of bouncing around to be able to get to boarding and then renting and stuff. So I was like trying to build like a sense of a friend circle and community, and all I had was work. And I was like in the middle of mental health crises too. So it was like I'll go out and just get fucked on the weekends. Like just drink a lot, go to the hubs of where people hung out and just like immediately like approach everyone and just get everyone's Snapchat, everyone's Facebook and be like, yeah. At this sense of like, I know them. I've seen them a couple of weeks in a row now. I know their name. We danced together for a second. We had a drink together. But like, I was not friends with those people. I made like one friend who is my best friend, Ellie. I made a friendship because she came in hot in the same way I came in hot. And it was actually because I'd like met her brother the week before at the Sporty. And then she came up to me the next time I was there and she recognized me and she's like, we're going to be best friends. And I was like, that's intense, but that's exactly what I've been doing. So yeah, let's be best friends. And then we just immediately were, and we have always been best friends. But she was like 1 in 1,000 people who I actually got a friendship out of from that kind of behavior. And yeah, I went through a stage where I had thousands of people on all my social media and I was not connected to any of them. No one knew me.
No.
And I looked like a psycho. I looked crazy. People knew me, but not for the right reasons. I think they would have seen me and been like, smile and be nice and she'll go away. But, you know, there were some people that was like, you know, fun to have a boogie with. But for the most part, it was like there was no quality friendships coming out of that behavior. So then I've kind of had this massive character arc of like learning from friendships and then moving more intentionally with how I understand interactions with people and being like, it's actually really nice to have fleeting interactions with people and not put so much weight on it. It doesn't have to be anything afterwards and you don't have to like play along and support them in a virtual space when you're not even in each other's physical space.
Yeah.
And it's so refreshing because I'm not like a slave to my phone or these platforms where it's busy. And I don't owe anyone anything in that space. It's like if you are important enough to be in my physical world and virtual world, then you also have my number and you're already calling and telling me what's going on in your life. Like I don't have to be
that's your big
following you.
That's your big thing. I'll never forget when I think you said it to me one day. I'm pretty sure you have because you're very honest about that of like because obviously my life is a lot on social media and you have always said like I don't want to just catch up through your life through social media.
Yeah.
And I remember you were the first friend that said it and I was like, oh my God, because like I am that friend that does like the updates and stuff, but the first time you said it you're like but like I don't want to just see your updates because you know your life like it's not
I don't want to have to be a fan of you to be with you. Like I am a fan of you, but like I'm not already in people's comment sections for those like exchanges of affection and intimacy. So it's like if there's stuff happening, like chat with me so I can do the real thing.
Yeah, not like the surface level of just the social media stuff. And I think that's something even with our friendship, since we've been friends since you said that, I've always known that it's like, okay, you got to be a lot more intentional with the best friends rather than just like, oh, I post something to social media and that's it. I could even find it now, I feel like in 2026 already, there's a really big transition with social media of what people want from it. From a connection standpoint and
it's because there's so much AI slop. People don't even know half the time and they're looking at something real, something fake, and the rise of the influencer, I feel like has peaked and we're at the dip of the other side of that mountain now. Like being an influencer means nothing anymore. You can share and influence like as an adjective, but the title of like being an influencer and like having brand deals and doing all that stuff, like people don't value it anymore because so many people have done it and been transparent enough for the average person to understand that that's a job. There's transactions happening there, and you are a fan or an audience member at most with people online at all times. So it's like the hyper awareness, I think now, or collective awareness, I don't really know how to phrase that, of when we're viewing people's online stuff, that it's not fully real. And even when people are being like vulnerable and raw or honest or authentic, that doesn't equate to like real in like the real world. So I think people have come full circle with participating in that and then understanding it and now moving towards integrating it to be able to move intentionally and be like, well, why am I online? What am I trying to get out of this? Is it distraction? Am I trying to learn something? Am I trying to just vibe? Am I trying to laugh? Am I trying to cry? Like, what is the thing? Or am I just trying to keep up with people's lives? And then that's like you're intentionally being a fan and a follower.
People are transitioning into that, definitely. I definitely think so. Even influencers, there was a lot start of last year that I really liked, and then now I'm just like, still.
And as you evolve as a person, like you're growing a human and you're going through so many phases of yourself right now.
I think that's the thing.
There's a lot of like fast shedding happening.
I think that's the thing. One thing that really gets me is I can't stand with the brand deals is like they say that it really helped their skin for a little bit. And then you see this brand deal's there for about 2 months, and then they've got this other product that they're like, this helps.
Yeah, they haven't even gone through a full cycle of skin cells, and they're like, this changed my life.
When I seen that, I'm like, okay, now that's not what you really say on alignment with your social media. Like that's something that's really, that's coming out to me a lot. And like I know some of my close friends that actually have brand deals and stuff. They are the only people that I 100% know actually really, really, really love the brand. And
because you witness up close when they actually have integrated it in their life or just for content.
Yeah. And like, you know, they'll get some brand deals and you'll see that they actually don't post it until they've tried it, they see, or is it something that I'll actually live in? Do I want to promote that? And like that's what we should see from influencers. But we actually need to get into today's episode. We've yapped up, but that was actually a pretty good point. Like touching on like social media and the connection, like it kind of intertwines with what we're going to talk about anyways. Okay, why do you feel friendships feel harder as you get older?
Why do you feel friendships get harder as you get older? I think it's a combination of things. I think for me, from my perspective, it's like as your responsibility to yourself greatens as you age, like you're moving as a free unit. You're not managed by parents or caregivers or like those childhood, teen, young adult environments where you're really like getting nursed into the world. Like you are nursing yourself now. You're fully responsible for that and the autonomy there. As that increases and as you start to shape your inner world of like how deep you're willing to go with yourself, how much responsibility and accountability you're willing to accept in the way you move through the world, starts to get heavy. And, you know, everyone has some rude awakenings that come from friendships. And I think it gets harder just in the same way that like travel gets harder when you're older. Like when you're a kid, you get driven around everywhere. When you're a teenager, like you want to get around on your own, so you have to like put in the effort, am I riding a bike or catching a bus? And then suddenly you get a license. That's really fucking hard. You're learning to operate a massive vehicle and there's so many moving parts of blah, blah, blah. That's hard, but like you learn it, you manage it, you integrate it, and then suddenly one day you're driving and you're not even thinking about driving, but you're driving. I think it's like that with friendship. I think we're in young adulthood still technically. Yeah. Where we aren't the toddlers of adulthood anymore, where we're still kind of getting nursed into having these the rude awakenings with the assistance of like someone who's been before us being like, here's how to manage that. Like, you know, how some people would sit over the counter from their mum and be like, this is going on with this friend. They're like, oh, here's what you need to do. We're in the young adulthood where it's the next level from that, where it's like we're really flying solo, building everything in our worlds on purpose, and having to take full responsibility for not only the actions there, but the processing of that.
Yeah.
So it just feels hard because we're in that like early stage, like the driving a car thing. It's like there's so many moving parts. There's a lot going on. Oh my gosh, it all rides on me. But it's like, I think, you know, in our 30s, 40s, we'll feel different about it and it will be hard in a different way. I also think that the consciousness that you have and the willingness to be honest internally changes your experience of this phase. And we witnessed that with, by the way, different people move through friendships and pass through our worlds of, oh, they're wanting to just freak out about how fast this car's moving rather than just figure out how to drive it. They're wanting to just be like, fuck, this is so hard. What's going on? Blow up. See who takes responsibility on my part, like, so I can get out of this and I can keep complaining and freak out. Oh my gosh. And then, you know, that's quite different to being like, fuck, this is hard. How am I going to navigate it?
Yeah. And that's literally what it is with friendships of like when, it's like literally a learning point, especially as you said, from like, especially going from like a teenager even to then going into young adulthood. It's like it shows our values and how we internalize things a lot, especially with friendships. That's actually a really good point of like, it does really make us reflect on, okay, is this something that I actually value? And like, how do I operate that with a friendship? So like for us, we really value open communication 100%. You can say that, but like, how is that happening? It's like when people say they care about their health, but they don't actually do anything for their health. It's the exact same thing. It's like, you've actually got to have the action there, even with the friendship, with the value. Like it's the interest versus the integration is how I think of it in my mind. Like what you said about someone being into health, it's like, are they interested in it? Do they spectate people being healthy? Do they like the look of being healthy? Are they consuming info about being healthy? Or are they integrating it? Are they doing the work? Are they taking care of how they move and how they eat and how they sleep? Like it's a totally different thing. And Completely
it's okay.
different.
It's okay to be either, but like got to have some level of realness with yourself about which approach you're taking.
Where is it?
Otherwise you're just going to keep being a tornado.
Yeah, it's like the classic like taking in information but not actually doing anything with the information.
It's like, okay, if that's what you want, if you just want to take in info, like that's fine. But don't act like you're taking action if you're not.
Yeah, oh my God.
That's just fake.
Can we just like, can you quote that again, please? Go again.
It's okay to take in information if that's what you want to do, but don't act like you're taking action because integration and interest are not the same.
I fucking love that. That's the best thing ever. I'm so getting that for real.
Work it.
We're going to actually go into the self-awareness in friendships. This is going to be so good. This is like more, like this isn't like the love and light shit that people think friendships are, I feel like, with this stuff. The next like bits that we've got is like actually being honest. And like this is what has helped our friendships and even me with other friends, like how I move, even if it's with you or Kay, I do it with other friends now because it's like I know for myself it's stuff that I value and like I can't drop it on another side because I know how friendships work and like I do it from a way that I respect my friendships rather than letting them be something of just like this. It's like literally like a relationship. Like that's how I think of it. It's like it's a relationship that you have to like manage in a way that can evolve and get better and not something you just think it's like a transactional little thing. And especially like if you do that with friendships, it feels like shit. I don't like when I feel like I'm in a transaction.
No.
I would hate to feel like I'm in a transaction with Az. Fuck that. Like, why would I want that out of my friendships as well? And I think that's how people think friendships are these days as well. And I think that's, I'll never forget, I'm pretty sure it was you that said it. It said something about you have to date your friends too.
Yeah.
That it's not you just date your partner and then don't date your friends at all. Like, you've got to put effort into the friendships outside of just, you know, like a social media thing. And
otherwise it's just people you know.
Yeah.
Like what is dating other than like being yourself in an experience together?
Yeah.
So like saying date your friends, it's like, are you actually putting in the effort to be in something together and be yourself at the same time? Like, or you just, are they an acquaintance? Do you just know them and you're proud to know them? Which is fine. It's
that's fine. You're going to have different categories of friends, but I think also knowing that you can't handle every, like, especially with best friends, you have to deal with them very different to how you deal with just acquaintances. And I
Yes.
think that's a big thing that people really fuck up.
And I think a lot of the muddy waters, like the blurred lines and the grey areas of friendship and where a lot of harm happens, is when there's confusion between what friendship is and, you know, community is such a hot word. People really confuse community and friendship. And I actually saw a great post by this account, the POC therapist. She's, I believe, from Toronto. And she really highlights the difference between community and friendship. Community is built on obligation and shared responsibility, and it's almost like a default thing. Like, we're in communities all the time, whether you're participating actively or not, you're in a community. They don't require emotional intimacy, and you don't have to like the people in them. An example would be like, if you're a kid in a household, that's a community. In that household, you function and move through navigating life together in a certain level, and you don't have to like your family. I mean, that's a lottery. A lot of siblings don't grow up to be friends, but when you're in a household together, you're a community figuring that out.
Yeah.
Another thing, like on a national level or a local level, like we're part of these communities where we're obligated to vote, we're obligated to make decisions and share responsibility and share the load on things that often don't affect us, and participate in a way where we are moving as a unit or part of a unit without necessarily being intimate with one another. Friendship's different because it requires emotional intimacy of some level, and there's different levels of friendship. But the confusion, I think, happens when people believe that friendships have communal obligations 100% of the time when they just don't, or believing that everyone in your community deserves access to you. So, like, you're in a community with the people you live around. Most people don't talk to their neighbours, but you are in a community together of sorts. And if someone goes away and you notice their bin is full or they've already talked to you about it or whatever, maybe you have an obligation to put their bin out. You don't have to tell them your childhood trauma. Like, maybe you'll discuss that level of emotional intimacy with your best friend.
Yeah.
And maybe you do put your friend's bin out, but it's like different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of confusion happens there because community, that word gets used a lot. And people start, I think we're also in a society where we really nurture individualism. So we're all quite self-centered by default, and it takes intentional friendships to ground us out of that and broaden the way we view ourselves in the world. So I think most people and most friendships operate off, or like, especially the ones that have issues, it's friendships where people are being quite self-centered and feeling like that other person is obliged to fill a need for them.
Yeah.
They're obligated to do something. They share a responsibility to like help me. It's like very self-centered. But then friendships, like when you really think of it clearly for what it is, it's like it's participatory. You're both choosing to share in an experience together on purpose, and it's equal. And what that is depends on the level of your friendship. So maybe it's someone that you only know from a music venue. You have a boogie together, you crack up laughing together, you share in the experience of raising your spirits together, and that's where that friendship is. Or maybe it's a friendship where they're like on a more intimate level. It's deeper, not in the sense of like one being cheap and one not, but just different types of depth. Deeper in the sense of you'll talk about how you're processing your emotions. You'll talk about things and really soundboard your inner world to that person to have them reflect it back to you so you can make sense of it and like, you know, move through feeling something together. And that goes both ways. in both of those types of friendship, they're very different to each other. They can both be equally as good as each other. One's not better just because it has a different type of intimacy or a different experience that's being shared. What makes it good is both parties are mutually participating in that, equally being respected in what that experience is together. And it's honest and authentic to the degree of intimacy that you go together. So it's like that person from the music venue, like you might see them at a bunch of gigs and they're like your gig friend. But as long as you both feel that experience is complete there and you don't take it home feeling like they owe you calling you and talking about trouble with your partner or something, then that's like a really thriving friendship.
Yeah.
And then the best friend or the different type of friend that you're talking about, those deep emotional core maybe wounds or feelings together, that's like able to really thrive when you can do that for them too.
Yeah.
And it thrives when you understand and respect the need that experience shared together is meant to fill. But as soon as you're not honest in whatever that dynamic is of being able to fill that need, being willing to do it for the other person, or like what you believe the expectations are around it, that's when things get murky. I think
I've actually got a question for this.
Yeah.
And this flows into it. How do you know when you're projecting your stuff onto someone else?
My stuff. Yeah, it's that thing of feeling like they owe it to me to like scratch an itch or appease me in a certain way that it suddenly takes my power in the friendship dynamic above them. It's like they serve me somehow. That's when I'm projecting on them rather than hoping for them to reflect things to me, which friendship is like that constant reflection.
Wait. I want to include this when I just thought of something with this thing. It wasn't like I projected at all, but it was this. It's actually in the next point when you said something about like getting triggered. I remember when we went away to Phillip Island and I was talking to you about something on the little couch thing. Bella's that type of friend that like you can't. She's not the type to have like a casual conversation and like she won't hold you to like a high standard. And like I love it. It's the best thing. But I remember the first time you did it to me, I was like, are you fucking serious? Because you said like I was talking about a situation. I was quite frustrated about this situation. Like I was talking about it and I was like getting like irritated and you were like, yeah, but you're the one who's triggered by it. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I completely didn't even want to say that. I was like, yeah, what do you mean? And then you said like, yeah, but that's your emotions. They're your things that you need to handle and like actually, process and like not just like project onto something else. And I'll never forget it when it happened. I was like, that was like a self-development moment on crack for me.
Yeah, like a pivotal moment.
It was. And I'll never forget. I think I said
I remember it very clearly.
I think I said it to Kay. I'm pretty sure I said it to Kay and I laugh about it. And she's like, yeah, like that's like a typical like Belle response in the best possible way.
Yeah. You're like on a certain wavelength with me when I just say things like that.
Yeah.
I remember it too because it was just very simply one of those things like our friendship had gotten to a place already, like I'd say easily we were best friend level. We were sharing like, processing deep stuff together. Grounded in like we both really value having we both have a lot of integrity and we both really value having people around us who turn us back to ourselves from an objective or observational truth.
Yeah.
So like we were already in a dynamic where it was like we'll process and unpack and hear things and whatever. But when it's our turn to soundboard, we're not just an echo chamber. I'm not just going to say what you want to hear so that you feel good about yourself.
Echo chamber. I love when people use that word.
It's very helpful, isn't it?
It's like
I'm not your parrot. I'm not going to be like, yeah, that sucks when I think you've actually hurt someone by being a bitch. I'm going to say, why are you triggered? What do you get out of that?
Yeah.
Because it's okay to feel that way, but what you do about your feeling really matters.
Yeah, the echo chamber is massive, especially like depending on who you surround yourself with and what their values are, they're just going to give you an echo chamber that keeps you in the exact same like position. And I think it's such an important conversation, even that of like, you should have the friendships that it's, you know, being able to process and talk about things, but also, okay, we actually need to redirect on, okay, what does this actually mean for you? Where people aren't willing to do that all of the time, that we do get stuck in the echo chamber and like, why do we think so many people get stuck?
And I think sometimes, I think this is another reason why it's helpful differentiating between community and friendship. Sometimes I think the stage is set for that to occur because people are seeking, they think they're not sure if they're seeking community or friendship in a friendship. They'll operate as if it's a friendship, but they'll expect as if it's community. There are some friendships, unique ones, that exist in, like, imagine a Venn diagram. They exist in that in between where it is both community and both friendship. Most don't exist in that space. It's a really hyped up type of friendship. It's like a unicorn friendship that a lot of people want but aren't ready for or don't have the skills yet to take care of. I'm just gonna let you laugh for a second.
This is how Belle's brain works with like explaining things. She'll have analogies.
Yeah, I can't not.
It's like a little storytelling.
Because it's like if words don't work for you, I'll paint the picture and you can picture it in your mind. Then it kind of works for everyone to understand what I'm saying.
I fucking love that.
But I think it's that thing of, and then they're not ready for the accountability. So I think that comes from when people, they are operating in a level of friendship where that exchange doesn't include, and like that experience you're participating in doesn't include real talk, like those, how would you sum up those comments that I make sometimes? Like just the accountability statements, like not deflecting, but like a U-turn sign, like turn back to yourself there. Like they want the friendship that is an exchange of like lighthearted stuff and not really going to that place. But they hold the mental belief that their friendships are obliged to be real with them. And that's a very community mindset of like, there's a responsibility and an obligation to do this thing to make our immediate world together a better place. But in a friendship, if you want it to be friendship and community, it has to be both ways. And that's the type of unique friendship that a lot of people miss out on or fuck up because they're not willing to do both, receive and give that what they think is like objective input and feel through it together. It's like a lot of moving parts to be able to hold space for in one person and trust that the other person can do it with you. So I think that's where that kind of can blow up sometimes, and people think someone's being a really shit friend or like failing in their circle, aka community they've built for themselves, when they've actually kind of wrongly categorized what that relationship's purpose is in their life. And it's like, if you're not ready to have that type of community friendship where there is radical responsibility, blatant accountability and honesty with each other and the lighter feelings too, then like just seek plain friendship.
Yeah, 100%. And I think with that too, you mentioned this before, but like also check how you are with yourself with that as well.
Oh, this is a huge thing. I was thinking on the way here. Sorry. Quick minor rant. I think something people need to realize, again, just I'm going to keep going with this community versus friendship thing because I think it will help people. The thing with community is you don't always choose to be in it. You just are by default. And that's the key thing I said before of like whether or not you're participating actively, you're part of communities. If you live somewhere, hello, we're all alive. If you have any contact with humans, if you're in any clubs or any what's the word? Like,
establishment?
Yeah, like if you're at school or uni or work or whatever, like there's communities. You don't always choose to be part of them. You just are. And there are responsibilities and obligations there. Friendships are chosen. This is why some people will never have friends because, well, there's lots of reasons why some people never have friends, but one of the reasons why some people never have friends is they just don't choose them. Yeah. Either they don't know how or they don't want to because of what friendship is. But everything you choose in your life, because it is something that comes from you seek it and you bring it to you on purpose in your world. It, by default, is a reflection of a part of you or who you aspire to be. So every friend in your world reflects a bit of you and has something in common with you. You like them. Normally, you like your friends. You're supposed to like your friends because either they are a bit of you or a bit of who you want to be. Like there's ways that you cross over and mesh to have things in common. And that's how you're able to have intimacy with them on different levels. It's just the thing of you choose your friendships. They're a choice.
Yeah.
And so you can also choose. Are you okay?
I just got the giggles because I was sitting there like, wait, have we got it? And
we
you were
just
like,
had such a shared, I want to say blonde moment. Blondes are smart though. So a shared baby brain from my absolutely.
My brain cells are transferring. This is a reflection of what happens in friendships.
I'm catching the bug. Yes, it is because we're like, there's neuroscience to that of being, the saying of being on the same wavelength. Like you actually do get on the same wavelength. Anyway, I digress. I think what I was trying to say is you choose friendships so you get to choose the shared experience you're opting into together and you can choose out of it. And and you can't hold someone to that choice like it's an obligation unless they are existing in that overlapped space of being friendship and community. So our friendship is very much in that space. I would say we have obligations in our friendship that even if we go through a period of not liking each other, we're still serving each other by being each other's community. We are in a close circle. But most of the time I really like you and you really like me.
I literally just said in my head,
we can get through those hard things together because we want to be on the other side of it.
I literally just said in my head, I'm like, you're stuck with me for life, bitch.
Yeah, literally. That meme of like, when you're ready to leave our friendship, there's the door and it's the brick wall on the door.
Literally 100%. I've said it to you and Kay for years.
Yeah.
Ever since we became friends, I'm like, you bitches, I would like literally put you both in a cage. Like,
but for that to happen and actually be a friendship and not like a kind of toxic relationship or just a community thing where we just serve each other by running errands and taking care of each other's kids or something, for that to actually be good, we hold each other to a really high standard of our shared values of like 100% honesty, transparency, communication is very high and efficient at all times. Like,
we are flowing so well in between like what we're talking about to the next thing.
Yeah.
Literally when you say communication, the next question
awesome.
is about like French. I want to answer this one first. How many friendships break down because nothing is actually said? This is something
record-breaking numbers.
For myself, I can't stand. I can't do it. I don't like it. I don't like being put in a position where I feel into things from people and it's like you can tell that something's wrong. And especially because of how we are and how much I feel that how much better friendships get to be when we're honest, even with ourselves and with people around us, how much better life gets to be, that it's not something that has to be overwhelming or like you have to overthink it. It's like you literally just say it how it is. And I think especially one thing that I don't like out of this is when there's like friction and there's the energy in it that feels very different. That's what I don't like. Especially that it's like it can just be a very mutual thing of like, hey, here's this, just see this, deal with it, let's just have an open conversation. Rather than when you feel like there's the frustration, you get resentment, you know, you're thinking things in a friendship but not actually voicing it. Like I'm the type of friend, if you came to me with something, if you seen like a pattern of mine or something or whatever, I would see that and be like, oh my God, thank you. Like I wouldn't see that as you being a bitch or pulling my character apart. I would see it as you're actually helping me grow as a human. And if that's something like if your friends come to you with something and you think straight away they're nitpicking me apart completely, it's maybe you just have to see that with a little bit of grace, just see it for what it is and reflect on, okay, actually, maybe like friendships get to be a really good mirror that people aren't willing to see.
Yeah.
A lot.
And I think sometimes it's a matter of letting yourself realize maybe you chose that friendship because the thing that they reflect is not part of who you are but who you want to be. And so you have this friendship that's rooted in the version of you you're molding. And so the things that they're going to be honest about with you oftentimes are going to be new territory for you to navigate and respond to.
Yeah.
And when that feels like hard or the responsibility it is, it's not the moment to back out and be like, well, fuck you, you're being this, and that, like label them to get out of it. But actually to be like, well, here's the action, here's the work that I need to take action on that's required for me to continue evolving into the person that I want to be and that this friendship supports me in being. And accept that like the price of that friendship is that thing that you haven't learned to navigate yet, and that friend and you and your safe space together hopefully is probably the perfect grounds for the practice to occur.
100%.
But it's like, I think frustrating when people pick friendships and they won't be real with themselves in that moment of like, well, this is just, I want to be the person who gets to the other side of this and the cost of it is going through it together.
Yeah.
They won't be honest with themselves about that reality in that moment. And so they'll just pick the wimpy way out and be like, fuck you, something's wrong with you, this, that, deflect. I'm going to go out the back exit
100%.
and then talk shit about you or be like, yeah, that was failed friendship or her problem or she was mean or something, when it's like you chose that friendship.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
and
definitely.
yeah, there's going to be friendships where people kind of step out of line of, well, this isn't really something I want to talk about from you, or this isn't a level of intimacy I want to go with you, so you don't need to bring that up to me and I don't want to engage in conversation on that.
Yeah.
Like that's fine. But if you have a friend that, you know, you're wanting to call your best friend, you want to call them your family, you want to be in like deeper levels together, then you've got to meet them there.
100%. Oh my God.
Like it's an equal thing. And as soon as
That's-
it's not equal, that's not friendship, that's control or manipulation, or honestly, sometimes a sign of narcissism. Like you're trying to build people around you to make you feel a certain way, but you're not giving anything to anyone. It's like, okay.
Yeah, 100%. I think especially one thing with the friendship side is like with situations that come up with friendships, one thing that I feel like we do really well with is like, because we always knew, I'm going to like use me as an example for this. One thing that we always knew, and you and Kay have said this to me, that when I kind of avoided a conversation, you guys actually said we were nervous that you were going to just like completely drop the friendship, because that's always what I've done.
Yeah, because you haven't had friendships with longevity before.
Yeah. And because you guys knew that that was something that I always did, when you felt that, that's what you guys originally thought. And I remember when you said it, I was like, I'm so happy that you guys pointed that out, where some people can get very upset about that or be like, oh, you know, like, or deflect and be like, this friendship, that friendship, blah, blah, blah. Where like, I just did well with seeing that, letting that be what it is. Of like, actually, yeah, that is something that happened, and not also adding a lot of emotion to it and just letting it be.
Just taking it for the insight it was.
Yeah. And one thing with that I've noticed a lot with people lately is they get very like avoidant of being avoidant on their own shit. Of they say, yeah, that's something that I've had there for a while, but they're also not willing to change that. And then it also comes up in a friendship. So like I could have done that very thing and said, oh, well, yeah, that's what I do, and then got deflective again and then just said, nah, fuck this. But instead, I was like, I'm actually going to see it for what it is, rather than letting this bleed into a friendship that I actually really value. I am going to have to choose differently.
Yeah.
And especially if it is coming up in a friendship, if it's a pattern, it's like, well, clearly it's still fucking there, so pay attention to it.
That's one thing. Like there's so many moments that we've had together where I'm like, mad respect, add that to the piggy bank of like, if I ever have a moment of, why do I respect this person? Like you got a whole savings thing there for me to reflect on. Like that was one of those moments where I'm like, mad respect, because two of us coming at you about like a bigger topic and having an uncomfortable conversation where it kind of felt like you were in the spotlight, but also meeting us there and being willing to give like trusting that our friendship is real enough that when never trying to attack you, we're trying to be in an experience with you. So when we're reflecting something where it feels like you're in the spotlight, we're meeting you there. So if there's stuff to be vulnerable about or to reflect back to us and our participation in it, like we're ready to be in that too.
Mm.
So A, meeting us where we were trying to meet you at, but then B, taking those reflections and insights for what they were, not making a whole thing out of them and using it as fuel for ammo to blow in our faces or something, but being like, I wouldn't have realized that you guys had reflected on that and perceived that and interpreted it that way, or had the chance of assuming that that was a possibility. And then the actions that followed that, since that day, you have had so many behaviors of affirming to me and Kay and our individual friendships and our friendships together that you are a friend that is willing to go through things together to the other side.
Yeah.
You want the friendship of longevity and you want to hype it, but the friendship isn't hype. The hype is the celebration of what the friendship actually is, which is real.
Yeah.
And it's like you've just had there's so much evidence of you affirming to me that I never have to hesitate with you ever again. If there's something that I feel upset about or that I feel you've been blind to with how it's affected me or the world around you, that I can talk to you about it and you're never going to dispose of me for that reason. If our friendship is ever disposed of, it will be a natural evolution of, you know, what we require in a friendship, and how we exist in community has changed a lot from how it is right now, and maybe there's just not room to serve each other and have that experience together in that way, so we'll naturally evolve. But it's like that also might never happen because we really value this, and it's like we're never just going to blow up and disappear on each other, you know?
Yeah. 100%.
Or just silently be like, well, fuck her, I'll just never talk to her again.
Yeah, I feel like, because like I just want to give a little bit of context to this as well with what you said. I used to be the type of we did kind of mention this, but I was the type of friend. I used to be a fucking awful friend. Like teenage years, I was an asshole. I would not give in to friends in a loving way, and everything was like probably a transaction, and I ended up with the worst friends, and I put myself in the worst position, but I also didn't do anything about it. And it was just like literally the worst, like coming from, even like I remember when we first became friends, even with Kay, like you guys were the first guys that I actually said you were my best friend, because I hated the word best friend for previous situations that I had with friendships, and it gave me the biggest ick. Like I just, every time, even if someone would say it, it's just like, oh, like you're my best friend. I'm like,
to me, it makes me squirm in the same way that boyfriend does. It almost feels like the child, like I think partly from jealousy of like I hadn't really mastered being able to be a best friend. So I was a bit jealous on some level of like, oh, when someone has a best friend, it's like, hey, I'll cheapen it for you in my mind of like, you're saying best friend, because I'm actually jealous that maybe you have a best friend. But then also the thing of like, it almost sounds childish of like, you're just claiming everyone to be super close and over drawing people in when actually like over categorizing when maybe they're not your best friend, and you are going to need to be able to let go of them very soon.
Yeah.
It felt very similar, but I proudly call you my best friend now.
Yeah.
And
like now
other
it's
best
like,
friends too.
Yeah, now it's like okay, but at the start, like, and it's something that I see so much when people say it, and I'm like, like now I'm heaps better with it. But yeah, like even reflecting on how I used to be with friendships, and it's like literally the willingness to just be like, okay, I need to meet myself deeper, because like I think before in my fitness journey, the first like 2 years of my fitness journey, I was by myself. I didn't have any friends around that time. I didn't have anyone that I would really call like a best friend. They were like the loneliest years of my life, but like the best years of my life. Then that's when I met Kay. That's when I met you. That's when I met, you know, the people that I still have around me now, or, you know, even how I came into the fitness industry, because I actually went on that part of, okay, I actually have a lot of healing to do, because like if I don't, I'm going to have them same friendships, them same patterns, them certain things that still come up that I have to be willing to meet myself in that. Yeah. And I think that's what, like, you could even resonate with that of like, that's why now it's not just, okay, I got better at friendships. I also got better at having a better relationship with myself.
100%. Yeah. Because friendships are optional and we choose them either on purpose or at, like by default based off reflections of ourselves or who we want to be. They will always be a summary, like all the friendships in your life will always be a summary of your relationship with yourself.
Yeah. 100%.
Always. Like, I'll die on that hill.
100%. It's like the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing with Az and I. Like 100%. Like it's
If you don't have the capacity to have good friendships or a relationship like that, like you don't have a good relationship with yourself. I'm sorry.
it's
just true.
Yeah, literally no way. Okay, next one. Boundaries and capacity. How do you set boundaries without feeling like a shit friend?
Well, choosing friends on purpose.
Yeah.
Not just like willy-nilly. I think starts off by making it easier and like more effective in having friendships be a safe space to be real, where I can just speak directly and say my boundary for what it is.
Can I just say something about the direct part? People really think where like you come off like aggressive when you're direct. I feel like I love it so much more and I hold it with so much more respect. Don't come to me in a friendship with fluff of saying, you know, you did really well with this and that or whatever. It's like, just tell me what you want from a boundary standpoint if it's something that you really value.
Yeah.
Let it be that. Just like say it how it is. It doesn't mean that I'm fucking being an asshole to you. It just means that I really care for our friendship and I really care for you. Especially, I just want to mention that about the directness because people really see that in such an attacking way. It's like if you just like really scope out of what that person is actually saying, it gets to be completely fine. Like, and I think even for myself with setting boundaries and stuff and how I do things now, I probably was used to be the one that would add a lot of fluff to it. But now it's like, actually, you know what? This is something that I just really like. I value. It doesn't have to be a lot of shit. Like this is something that even Az and I do in our relationship. If there's something that we're just like, hey, here's this. And we're like, yeah, okay, cool. And that's it. It doesn't have to be like they attacked me or like they were too direct or like that was really harsh. It's not that.
Friendships fill needs and you can't get needs met without a clear thing laid out. Like, I don't know. I just think of it like a recipe. Like if you can't say the instruction and the ingredients required, like how is that need going to get filled? And because friendships are equal in two-way and there is never the power of someone being more powerful than the other in a healthy friendship.
Yeah.
The more direct you can be, the more clear it is of like getting that need filled and that power stays like balanced of we are both honestly being on each side of this two-way participatory thing.
Yeah.
So it's, very helpful, especially people who just think like us because we think very direct with ourselves. I think part of that is the kind of depth of relationship and honesty we have with ourselves, but also just the way we tick as individuals. Not everyone is that like able to be clear and decisive with their thoughts.
I just want to jump in and say I always like reflecting it in a way of like it hasn't been like this because I think we can say that and it's like people think like, oh, well, yeah, like, but how do I get to that? I feel like we have both really felt the when we're not direct, when we're not in integrity, what happens to us. Like for me, one reason why I love my habits and I love the way that I show up because it forces me to be integrity for myself and it forces me
with integrity.
Yeah, so good job, babe. And it forces me to actually like I've noticed the byproduct of what happens when I am actually honest with myself and when I am direct and, you know, I actually do things in a way for myself that I've completely forgot what
you don't get lost in things.
Yes.
Like you're able to stay like aligned and on track and accountable with
you got my
who
baby
you want to
brain.
be and how you want to live.
Yeah, you got my baby
Yeah,
brain.
I get it. I think it's like, we thrive off that directness because it's just we like things getting done. Like we're those kind of people. So it's that thing of it's very efficient to just cut to it.
Yeah.
And then we can still have the like fluffy stuff if it feels aligned with how we're, you know, expressing and relating in the moment. But it's like not everything exists in the fluff. Like you actually do have to be clear.
Yeah.
For me, I feel very frustrated if there's no directness because it's like I get overwhelmed. Like my mind has a bazillion trains of thought at all times and they're all very complex and loud. And being direct is my way to like stay focused on a thought or a job or whatever that I need to act on or process. So it's like if there's no directness, I just become acutely aware of how there's nothing taking the lead in my thoughts and all of that noise is insane and intense, and I get frustrated because then my friendships don't feel like they feel any needs. They just add to noise.
Yeah.
For me personally.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, yeah, you can go on.
I had a good point that I wanted to add in that I completely I forgot.
Yeah, I saw her disappear.
Yeah, I think
It'll come back.
We're kind of like looping off each other. One part that in terms of like how we are with knowing to be more direct, I think is more of a reflection on our relationship with ourselves as well, because we've come from a situation like personal journeys that we never were, and we were depressed. We felt like shit. Our self-esteem was really bad. So now it's something that we really value, because as soon as we did take things a lot more serious and we were a lot more direct, we seen how much better things actually got for us, instead of adding all of the, you know, the fluff, or not actually really seeing it for what it is, or just, like trying to avoid the situation. I think is why also in friendships that we do value it in that way, because we are like that with ourselves, of like, it's like, okay, that's done. Because we've always, like, for me, I've always did that thing of like avoiding, or not wanting to actually see it for what it is, or not be direct. And I felt like shit.
Yeah.
And that's why I value it so much, because, okay, probably the life that I have now is a byproduct because I actually learnt that.
Yeah, you face things front on, deal with them for what they are, and communicate accordingly.
Yeah.
I think lacking the capacity or ability, people love to say, I'm not able to do that, or like, I don't have the capacity for that. They're two different things. People lacking capacity or ability to be direct in relationships and friendships, I think comes down to two things. It's either a skill issue or an experience issue. Sometimes it's both.
Yeah.
It's a skill to be able to articulate well and to cut to it.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole set of systems in your brain, like sorting out what doesn't need to be said while holding on to the main thing that you do need to be said, and saying it in a way that you know that the person's going to have a high chance of understanding and that is really going to reflect what you really mean. But it's also an experience thing of, have they even done that before? Have they even been spoken to in that way before, where it's been kind? And like, how much practice do they have with that? So when in friendship there's a moment where like clarity and direct communication is required, and even or especially when it gets to the point where that is expressed, like, I need you to be 100% more direct with this, and it's still not able to be met with that, I think it's like, it's one of those things, skill or experience, but I think often there's the choice that cock blocks people from being able to develop the skill or experience of being able to be direct and have that be really nourishing to a friendship, because it takes effort to acquire a skill. It takes effort to put in practice with something. Yeah. And if the exchange, like if the friendship is more of an exchange rather than a shared experience, and they don't feel it necessary, or they don't have proof in their history of relationships that being direct is like going to be worth the payoff for them, then it's like they're not going to try, and they'll just start blaming random shit and talking more fluff. But it's like one of those things of, I think that's when it gets into an unhealthy relationship dynamic rather than a friendship, where people are actually just wanting power. Like if someone says to you, like, say we have, it wouldn't be us, but just say we had a disagreement over something, or like there was an issue and you were talking fluff about it, and I'm saying like, I need you to be 100% more direct about this, and I'm confronting you, I'm being direct, and you are not meeting me where I'm at, and you're communicating like, oh, this is just hard for me to talk about, blah, blah, blah. I hear that it's hard. We still need to do it. So is it a skill or experience thing? We'll figure that out together. Like I'll share my skill with you. I'll practice it with you. Yeah. You need to choose to opt in to continuing forward through that way. If you're just still trying to fluff and get out of it, it's like, what are you actually wanting to get out of this friendship? You telling me all your struggles with confronting this issue is you being vulnerable, but vulnerability without accountability is manipulation. What are you trying to manipulate out of me? You want to make yourself feel good and validated? You want to feel like you're a victim and have no control over bettering yourself? Like, what is it? Because I'm not here for that. Like, that's not a friendship.
Yeah, like that's not, like you've got to do the next part in it to actually want to, rather than sitting there. Okay, next part. When friendships drift or end, how do you know when a friendship has run its course?
When it's no longer equal.
Yeah, or when I feel like for me,
when it can't be honest.
Yeah, or I just feel it. There's just a point in it that I just feel it. It doesn't feel like, it just feels like it's had its moment.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that too. I think sometimes we think that friendships ending are, super bad or whatever. It's like sometimes people just come in for a chapter.
Sometimes it's very quick and obvious, and sometimes a friendship ending can take a long time.
Yeah.
And I want to say that because I did say when it's no longer equal. A good friendship, like, if you put it on a graph and you got like the line going up and down, like sometimes there's going to be times where you're putting more into your friend and then they're putting more into you and then you're putting more into them. But when you zoom out, the line's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
When it's no longer equal, by that I mean like if you were to zoom out on like the graph of the timeline of your friendship, if like you're always giving and showing up for what that shared experience is supposed to be together and has been communicated and agreed on, and they're not meeting you there anymore, or they're getting dishonest about their participation in that, or vice versa. So I think like, not to say, when your friend is having a mental health crisis and they can't catch up as much as you want and are able to catch up anymore, that doesn't suddenly mean you're not friends.
Yeah.
But if like in the big picture, they're just never on any level able to show up in the capacity of that friendship, then it's like, or say if I called you every time I'm upset or like overwhelmed by something, I often do, but like if I call you about being overwhelmed, blah, 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 but
I literally just thought in my head, I'm like, the amount of times that like you FaceTime me to process, I always know Belle's processing. Belle is actually, I'm going to say this like out loud, Belle is the only friend that I have that can get past my do not disturb. There's Belle and Az, because I know with like one thing, I think this is a good point to add with friendships. We do well with no matter how we feel, we're okay with letting us interact like that.
Yeah.
So say if you're having a moment or, you've got something going on and then we're on the same call, we're still able to see each other in that and not make it a thing of like, she was, telling me something that was really exciting while I was trying to like tell her about something that was, and she was just like being really, you can see each other both in that.
Yeah.
And
that's just the type of intimacy that we have.
Yeah, and we do really well with that, even when, if you call and like, say for example, like if I'm doing a work thing or something, I'm like, this is going to take an hour that I'm holding. And this is something that I always think about. Like I always think of my whole week as hours of, I say that I value things, but how am I actually valuing them?
Yeah, where's it showing up in your week?
Where's it showing up and where's the action? So like if a friend calls me or a family member calls me, I'm like, this might be half an hour, and like people get so frustrated that their friend calls them for an hour.
Because you didn't schedule it into your day, but it's like, do you want them showing up in your life consistently? Because you need to have time in your week of them.
Literally, I understand sometimes schedules, whatever, but like also say that to the friend, call them back in a fucking another hour because you say that you value it, of let them process with you for an hour or something. Or it takes, even people, I think, is it 8 minutes or something of a phone call to help someone feel better? And that has...
Because you're co-regulating with the person.
That has like stuck with me for so long that if someone is calling me, I know that they actually just need like a little bit of space.
Yeah.
I say that I value it. Am I actually giving time into that?
Yeah, you can at least give them 8 minutes if they're the kind of person who's going to feel comfortable calling you in the first place. And the thing about it works in with what you were saying that I was saying about when it's no longer equal.
Yeah.
If I continued the behavior of calling you to emotionally process stuff or like soundboard to you when I'm trying to get my head around things, or if I feel overwhelmed and I'm like, okay, let's put both of our resourceful, direct, like highly efficient brains together and figure this out, figure this one out, or I need to be heard, so hear me. Yeah. If I just call you with that all the time and I'm never available for it for you, or I always hang up the phone once we're done with my stuff, that's not a friendship anymore. Yeah. I'm using you to fill a need. I'm manipulating you for something that I want. I'm not showing up as a friend. I'm not being a friend. Yeah. That's a transaction.
There was a phone call that we had that just kind of like pull that out of my brain just then when you said that. It was around the time when stuff was happening with Jerry, and we were talking about your family as well and things that you were experiencing on the same wavelength of that. When I said something to you, then you wanted to unpack it with me, where normally, to some extent, people will be like, I was just talking about myself, or, like, and it's sad that people
go to a counselor. If you want to have a conversation and it only ever be about you and what already existed in your head, you don't have the capacity for friendship, and you will just forever feel the need for a therapist.
Yeah. 100%.
Sorry, but not.
But it's also.
But it is that thing of like, it's just basic empathy as well. Like if I have the ability to communicate so effectively with you that you help meet my need of needing to externally process stuff, and that being a safe and, kind thing in the world, I'm not just being a dick talking about shit. The ability to communicate so effectively where I get something out of that conversation with you, then I absolutely have the ability to flip it and be that for you.
Yeah.
And if I can't, it's because I don't have empathy, but I do have empathy. So I'm able to be like, two truths can coexist. Maybe I'm calling you because I have like a partially dislocated shoulder and I'm in the worst pain, and I want to complain about how the GP didn't give me the referral I wanted and was trying to shove pills down my throat for something that's a structural problem. Or maybe, and at the same time, you are having the best business news in your year and you're wanting to celebrate it. And that is a same, but different end of the emotional scale thing that you want to process and reflect and bounce off and navigate together and be like, well, I want to be heard and have this reflected back at me. What's happening next? It's like, if you can meet me about my shoulder, I can meet you about your biz stuff. That's that it's just basic empathy. I can feel that I'm in pain, I'm frustrated, and I'm pissed off, and empathize that this is something to be excited about. This is something to be joyful about, and like have, that kind of chatter about.
Yeah.
And it's the same with anything else. Like if I'm having a hard time navigating a relationship thing and you're having a pregnancy announcement, like they can coexist. Like I can be the friend to you that you are to me at all times, but it's equal. And you don't have power over me, or I don't have power over you because I'm getting something from you to fill my need, and you don't have power over me because you're like having access to my inner world and helping influence it, and it being in balance because it's not going the other way. It's like we're in it together.
Yeah. Shit. Okay, rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
They're really easy. One thing that kills friendships. Go. Quick.
Dishonesty.
Good job.
I'm like, is there another answer?
One green flag in a friend.
Acts the same towards you regardless of who else is around.
One red flag you ignore for too long.
Negging.
Wait, what?
Negging. Like when people
That's negging.
They like throw negative subtle jabs at you to test your capacity for being shat on and used for making themselves feel better. Because that always leads to a power imbalance of someone feeling stupid to make someone feel better. Yeah.
What you've had to unlearn about friendships.
Sorry, it's not rapid.
I'm excited for this one.
That people will always mean what they say. And I'm someone who I will intentionally opt into something because I've already thought about it, and I know that what I say I will absolutely mean. Like I mean it that I can be a good friend to you, or I mean it that I'm the chill friend, or I mean it that I'm the fun friend. But sometimes people are the opposite and they learn after the action mostly, rather than learning mostly before the action. So they opt into things, saying things and expressing intentions, blah, 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 that they will never act on or be able to actualize. And maybe it's because they knew it and they said it and they didn't mean it, and words don't matter the same to them as they do to me. Or maybe it's that they thought they wanted something and those were the words to describe what they wanted, but as they were going through it, they realized that that's not actually it for them, and they're kind of gently evolving away. But yeah, I used to put a lot of weight and like restriction on the words and the things other friends would say, and then be like justifying being upset at them for how gutted I felt when a friendship had to evolve unexpectedly according to the original intentions kind of set. But it's actually like, okay, for things to evolve and the more softly I can transition between friendships and types of friendships and the nature of friendship evolving, the better. But yeah, I've had to like unlearn that not everyone thinks the way I do about words and meaning what they say.
Yeah, that's your really big thing, even with words in general, because you're very smart with what the actual meaning is with words. That like sometimes
I mean, I read dictionaries for fun.
I'll never forget the first time. So, mind you, I was talking to Az about this last night. We were talking about my words because I was talking about how my brain's getting slower. Like, we've just noticed it. There's a few things in the podcast that we've
You're
noticed.
getting ready to hold a baby.
Yeah. And I said something to Az about how, like, you can actually, how, like, different our brain gets because of it. And he said something, what did he say? We were talking about how, like, she takes like my brain cells, and he's like, so she's gonna say seen in them. And I was like, and he's like,
Yeah.
shit, 'cause he always picks on me for it. And I
It's
said
so
to him, I'm
funny.
like, I have been like, Az and I met each other when I was 22, right? 22 years of my life, no one told me that I spoke the way that I spoke with certain words. No one ever said to me.
Because it's not uncommon. You just talk like a bogan Australian that just doesn't really care to be grammatically correct. Like, that's fine.
I never knew that. And even now with like the podcast and when I'm talking to people and when I say things like Joel, like as his brother used to say it to me as well. And then I'll never forget, it was my birthday when we did a little picnic when I asked you when I said something about my words, and Kay was going to be really nice about it. And you were like, like you do it all the time with your words. And I never knew it. I never knew. And now
Is it just the shock of like that was a blind spot you didn't know was there?
Yeah.
Because I feel like
And now-
most of the time people who talk like that, they know they talk like that and they just don't really care. And
I
they
didn't
can
know
still be
this.
understood. So like communication is still effective. But
I
it's
had
like,
no idea. I had no idea.
That's
And now
interesting.
even when I say things like on the podcast or something, or like when I'm talking.
do you get paranoid about it?
Yes.
Oh.
It was my one big thing with the podcast that I always felt like I was never smart enough in the way that I speak. So when like I noticed it, when people, I was like, oh shit. But like now I'm like, I'm just going to own it and just like let it be what it is. And if I change
the way
it.
that you talk, like in that capacity of like there being different words available or ways to be more grammatically correct, like that doesn't reflect your worthiness to take up space and share your inner thoughts and world. Like you bring value, even if you talked like gibberish, like what you say is still valuable. So
Thanks, babe.
I didn't realize that was a thing on your mind. Like I've noticed like there'll be moments. That's why I don't pick at it unless I think there's been one time where I like called you out about the wording you used on something online, because I'm like, I think it's really important for these particular words to be used correctly, because that will hurt people if they're getting confused there. But aside from that, like I try not to pick at it because I'm like, I don't want to make it something you're self-conscious about, but I didn't realize the podcast stuff. But what you have to say is valuable, and like you change lives no matter how grammatically correct you speak and how well you know definitions of words.
It was even like the thing with coming into the pregnancy that I was like, I was really nervous if like my brain, because it's had moments that it like forgets or whatever, or certain things. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking own it for what it is. Like the fact, I'm 33 weeks today. And the fact that I've still done the podcast or done the YouTube, like, because I
Sorry, when you say done the YouTube, I always think of a granny being like, the YouTube, like instead of YouTube, you know? This little character pops out in the overlay of like you in my vision. And I'm like, in the interwebs. Continue.
like I've been reflecting on it, and I'm like, I think it's kind of helped me in a way to like not feel like everything needs to be perfect all of the time, because like I was like, the reason I didn't make the podcast was because I wanted everything to be perfect, like I wanted to be a perfectionist, and like
you'll never get anything done.
No, and all of that, and like now, like going through the pregnancy and still doing all of this shit, I'm like, I think it's helped me feeling like everything needs to be perfect or like a perfectionist, when really I was just procrastinating.
Yeah.
Like,
it was just a disguise to protect yourself from
a whole
acknowledging the real truth.
Yeah, not actually wanting to sit here and share shit from my brain.
Perfectionism is like just escapism. It's just
it is 100%. Sorry, everyone that says they're perfectionist, but it's very true.
Probably not something to be proud of. Like when
Yeah.
people are perfectionists, it's like, okay. You can say like, I have really high standard. I value a really high standard of executing blah, blah, blah. But it's like, if you're a perfectionist, it's like, are you real? Do you care about real things?
Yeah.
You do not need to be overly polished. That's one thing about me. I don't enunciate my words properly. And there had been times raising my child where I had been self-conscious about that because I'm like hearing him learn to speak and hearing him say a word and I can tell that he has perceived different sounds and letters in that word than what are actually there based off how I pronounce it. And then I went through this stage of like overly enunciating and pronouncing everything perfectly with bedtime stories. I was like, the cat went through the gate. And I'm like trying to say all the sounds. And it's just weird and not me. It's like as long as if he's trying to read and write, like he knows the correct things, like he has access to the world and like language is serving its purpose. But I understand and relate to that like fleeting thing of how much weight do I put in this new information of noticing that I do this thing.
100%. It's just interesting because it was like I never knew, and then the more that I focused on it, I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
You know what? Little man's actually that when you said about the book, he's really good with reading books.
I'm so proud of that. There's like one thing I put great importance on is
him and Uno too. Yeah. I'll never forget that first time we played Uno and I was like, oh yeah, we'll play. And then I realized he was really good. I'm like, there's no fucking way. I'm like, I'm going to get competitive here. I'm going to be that auntie.
Oh, it's fun. Like I do not go easy on him with competitiveness because A, I'm just competitive. But then B, I think like it just builds character and in a positive way of like you're able to coexist with people really well if you can deal with losing and not being the best.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to place yourself in different dynamics then if you have the capacity for it. But it's, any games, especially hide and seek. For survival reasons too, I'm like weirdly funny about hide and seek. I'm like, I will never go easy on him. I'll find him straight away and make the game boring so that he has to keep hiding. I'll make him look for me for ages so that he learns to look in hard places so that if he ever has to hide, he knows how to hide. But I put a lot of importance on like the reading and writing stuff because when he was a baby, he was talking in his sleep like at 2 months old, saying words. So I'm like, well, babies have really complex brains when they're born. The fact that he could accidentally talk before he can talk tells me that we don't give them enough credit, and they are excellent communicators. They barely even have to make different cry sounds and they get exactly what they need every time. So it's like I always wanted to honor and respect that, the tools are already in there. I want to equip him knowing how to use them as early as possible so that he doesn't have as big a barrier of entry to learning and experiencing the world as people who can't read and write do. It's like, think about it. If you can read, you can teach yourself or seek out being taught anything. You have access to the entire world if you can read in one language. And if you can write, that's like next level. So I'm like a big believer. Toddlers can read. Babies can speak. Toddlers can read.
Yeah.
So he's not a toddler anymore, but he can read.
No. He's not.
Very proud of him.
He's so cute. Well, that's today's episode done. I hope everyone got there was a lot of truth points in that in the best way possible, though.
Yeah.
That if you really want to just be a good friend and have the relationships that you probably want to have, you probably have to start seeing where you're not really paying attention to things with yourself too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Become the friend. It sounds cheesy.
Yeah.
But it's cheesy for a reason. Like, become the friend that you want to be. Like, be that friend to yourself. In the same way that Jaymi, you always harp on about, like, this is your business. I say harp on in a positive way.
Yeah.
About, like, your habits and showing up for yourself, and then how you do one thing is how you do everything. It's the exact same with friendship. How you do the relationship with yourself is how you do friendship. It's how you do community. It's how you do everything else. If you are like just zoning out on matters of importance internally, you're dissociating, avoiding, numbing, suppressing, whatever it is, you don't have the capacity or flexibility to be the friend that you probably idealize in your head, and you're going to have chaos and a really great graveyard of failed friendships.
Yeah.
And everyone has a graveyard of friendships, but like it doesn't need to be busting full.
Yep.
But yeah, meet yourself where you want to be met.
Yeah. And I think that's what being a human is too, of the growth side of it. We're meant to grow, we're meant to evolve. And I think people forget that too sometimes as well.
Yeah.
So like even you hearing that if there is something that, you know, you have to focus on and grow with, let that be what it is and show light onto that because it's something that you probably need to focus on, and it's probably going to make things a hell of a lot better later.
100%. Friendship is like the most underrated container of growth. Like people spend thousands and thousands of dollars on getting in these coaching containers, but it's like a couple of good friendships are going to be able to do all that for you.
Yeah,
like,
or just paying attention to your own actions.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Like
just a little bit of presence goes a long way to being able to be aware.
This is a big thing with, now I'm just going on a tangent, but
Love
like
it.
People take in a lot of information, and it's great. We have a lot of information. We're so lucky. But where are you actually like looking at yourself and not bypassing with more information? You can have all of the information, but like, do you still have the same quality of friendships? Do you still have the same quality of health? Do you still have the same quality of relationship even with yourself with that of, if you do, it's probably because you're just taking information without actually changing anything.
Yeah, getting stuck in rationalizing rather than growing through and experiencing.
My big thing for 2026, I've been reflecting on this a lot, is like voicing to people your actions need to change. It's not just take in the shit. Something needs to change. Like, yeah, I'm just, it's like on my head so much lately.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like
okay. Anywho, well, that's today's episode done. My brain's tired now. Is your brain tired?
A little bit. I want a muesli bar.
Okay. Thank you guys for listening.
Thanks
and
for
we'll talk
having
to you in
me.
the next one.